Om Sahana Vavtu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Let me just mute here 1 second. Okay. So we are on verse 16. We did verse 15 of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6 last time, which says, thus always keeping the mind balanced, the yogi with his mind control attains to the peace abiding in me, which culminates in total liberation. So it talked about that if you continuously sit and make efforts to get into the state of meditation, then finally with the mind controlled and all that, with all the yuktis that Bhagwan has said, we will attain that peace which abides in me, means that Brahman, and that is culminates into total liberation, nirvana, moksha, freedom, turiya state, all of that. So now the question is that sometimes some people may be saying, hey, I've read Bhagavad Gita, I'm doing all this so much, why it is not happening to me? So then Bhagwan gives next two verses, he gives a tip that why it may not be happening and what adjustment we have to make in our daily life. So, it's like we cannot have the entire focus on just meditation, because the rest, if you're sitting in meditation for 20 minutes and half an hour, but the rest 23 hours, what do? You have to support this meditation in those 24 hours. And, there was a verse in chapter 2, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Balance, balance is called yoga. So keep that in mind. And with that in mind, all these tips are given. And these two verses are going to shatter a lot of beliefs that people have. We have to do this and we have to do that, And Bhagwan is going to just bring us down to the earth and say, all you have to do is lead a balanced life. And what did he mean by that? That we'll see. Okay? So that's verse 16. Now I'm going to chant. Natyashnatastu yogosti na chaikanta manashnataha na chati swapnashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. Na is not. Atyashnataha, one who eats too much. Tu, verily. Yoga, we know yoga. Asti is, no, not. Cha is and. Ekantam, at all. Me jo bilkul nahi khata hai. Ya to too much khata hai ya bilkul nahi khata hai. Anashnataha, one who does not eat. No is not, cha is and. Ati swapna shilasya. Sapna ko, we all know what is swapna, but here it is meant sleeping. One who sleeps too much. Jagrata, one who is awake. No is not, eva is even, cha is and Arjuna we know. So let's see what he's saying over here. So basically he's saying that one who does not lead a balanced life will find it very difficult to practice this meditation. So Ashnataha means to eat. And here it is a symbolic, because when we think of eating, we think of the food. Of course, food is a very, very important thing in our life, because that's how body is maintained and we get all the nourishment, everything. It's like a machinery. It's a fuel for the machinery. And we need our body for meditation. So that's why it is a very important thing. But Swamiji is going to explain that when he talks about eating, here there is a symbolic thing for all five senses. So that means whatever we intake with all 5 senses has to be balanced too. Not किसी को म्यूजिक पसंद है तो ये नहीं कि वो 24 घंटे म्यूजिक में ही लगा हुआ है और टीवी देख रहा है or something, just keep that in mind, even though we're going to focus a little bit more on eating, but still just keep that in mind. So then these are kind of simple verses, but still there are some things that we can bring out of this, and different swamis bring out different points, so we'll just discuss all that. So the Dilli Wale Swami is a little bit funny. So he said that, some person who eats a lot. So what does he mean by eat a lot? He's saying not only breakfast, lunch, dinner, but constantly eating in between. And in America, there's no fixed time, you know that. And he's saying not only that, special snack at night. Also people eat night snacks and things like that. So he's saying just eat, like constantly eating, there'll be a huge problem. And then he added this thing, which I think it's become less now. He said that when you're not eating anything, then you're chewing the gum. People do that. But I haven't seen that many people do that now. So, but there was a trend, 20 some years ago. My God, everybody was doing this chewing gum. Really nasty. Anyway, so he's saying that Dilli Wale Swami said that such a person, he's saying, oh, you please meditation mat karo aur kahin jao, meaning he's saying nahi hoga tumhare se if you do too much. So एक तरफ तो बोला जो बहुत खाता है उससे नहीं होएगा, and we also know you get sleepy and it's just, and the other thing is that the whole body has to work so hard that all your organs are going to get overworked and things like that. Then Krishna Bhagavan, the same breath, also says that the one who does not eat at all. So then, he's not saying that don't do vrat and all that. So we should not misunderstand what he's saying. If somebody is doing something as a sadhana and it kind of suits his personality and he's benefiting from it, those exceptions he's not talking about. But there are people who will, try to copy others and, forcefully not eat things and all that. So not eat at all, meaning the category that would try to अपने आप को बहुत ज़्यादा भूखा रखना वगैरह. He's saying that वो भी नहीं चलेगा. Because the reason is that when your body is not balanced, because either you are eating too much or not eating at all, so you don't even have energy to do anything. So how will you sit in meditation? So that, just keep that too extreme in mind. So basically what happens is that the body gets either overloaded and all the organs are working too much and digesting food and all that, and they are not functioning well, and all kind of aches and pain and all that things start happening. So then you won't be able to sit in meditation because your mind will go in body. When a body is not healthy, then, if you have aches and pain, then you cannot concentrate on the self. He's talking about how will we do that? So from that perspective, we have to keep the body balanced. And so the other thing is that swapna shilasya na chati swapna shilasya jagrato. So the second thing he told about is you cannot sleep too much or not sleep at all. Again, that's a huge problem. So Dilli Wale Swamiji is saying there are people, who will sleep during the regular time and then they'll keep sleeping throughout the day. That's one category. But the other category is, he said, they are awake but they are still asleep. See the category? Means no faculties are working properly. Because various reasons, too much distraction, mind is not balanced. So see how so many different things can come out of this little verse. So, and then he said that sometimes, when you are like half asleep and things like that, and you're not alert, he's saying that sometimes you might force yourself to sit in meditation at that time. So you might start hallucinating, oh, God is coming and talking to me. I'm just saying that all kinds of weird things can happen and then people can make up. So that's why that balance is so important, So senses cannot be dull either and all that. And you have to be alert and all that. basically the idea over here is that the mind and body should be healthy and balanced. And then it will happen. So it's a very simple one. Any comment on this? Question?
Could you give an example of, it talks about sense enjoyments, mental feelings, intellectual perceptions. Okay. And I was just wondering, mental feelings, okay, I can understand.
Oh, you mean balance in that?
Yeah, balance in that.
I think that basically he's just bringing us that, hey, whatever the daytime you are awake, firstly you balance your sleep and awake. And then the one more very important thing before I go into that Krishna Bhagwan didn't say any fixed quantity. Itna so, itna nahi so, right? Because somehow I feel in the West, they put everybody in a box. 8 hours sleep is necessary. फिर जो 4 घंटे सो रहा है वो सोचेगा, oh my God, something bad is happening in my body. That's not true. Everybody has a different thing in their body, what they need to eat, how much they need to eat, how much they need to sleep to feel balanced. See what I'm saying? So that is the most important thing. And then, our 3 equipments, mind, body, intellect. So all 3 need to be balanced. Emotions also. Too much emotionalism is again going to disturb you. But emotions are also important because that's where we feel the love and things like that, the positive emotions. So I think that we have to keep that in mind. And intellect, like you can think about it this way about intellect. Some people, they just want to intellectually read. It can create a lot of disturbance after a while. If you constantly do that, so you got to bring that, balance it out. There are people like that who will just want to one book after the other, keep reading, but not try to balance it with sitting quietly and emptying the mind.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? That kind of, so all those kind of things, everything comes under it. You have to use your own discrimination over here about balance, and you got to turn within and say, hey, what is the right balance for me? Because as far as sleep is concerned, I know people who say they only sleep like 4 hours out of 24 and they're totally healthy, fine, they can do everything. And others, they might sleep 7 hours and they still need a little nap. I mean, that may be okay for that person, That's what it is. That here Krishna Bhagwan did not give a fixed thing, but he gave the responsibility to you, but he also said that balanced life is most important for meditation. And then if anybody who knows the Buddha story, that Buddha went through so much hardships because he was with a group. Whoever doesn't know, I'll just speak a little bit about it. He was with a group that was doing this austerity, severe austerity, like not eating and apne pure usne sharir ko anjar panjar bana diya, and he did not progress in his spirituality. And finally, on his own accord, he came to the conclusion that, middle path, he said, take the middle path. And that's exactly here it is. There are the verses are telling you, that it is a middle path. तो अपने शास्त्रों में सब कुछ दिया हुआ है. But we have, sometimes we may just read and just kind of, because very simple looking verses, just leave it. But if somebody is meditating for a long time and some things are not progressing, then they have to realize that they may not be leading a balanced life. That's what may be causing that. So these are precautions that he's talking about. Any other comment or question? Who's the volunteer? Anybody wants to read today? Then I'm going to ask Meena ji. Oh, yeah, Sheila ji wants to read. That's fine.
I start? Everybody can hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Verily, yoga is not possible for him who eats too much, nor for him who does not eat and remains lonely, nor for him who sleeps too much, nor for him who is always awake, O Arjuna.
So it's simple, right? Not to go in extremes, huh?
When the above technique, the goal are so clearly given out, one is apt to wonder at one's own incapacity to reach anywhere near the indicated goal, in spite of the fact that one has been sincerely and constantly meditating for a number of years. What is exactly the behavior in a seeker that unconsciously takes him away from the grand road to success? No scientific theory is complete unless it enumerates the various precautions that are to be taken for achieving complete success. The stanza under review and the following ones together gives a warning of all the possible pitfalls on the path of Dhyan Yoga.
So he's just telling you what we discussed, that, okay, sometimes somebody may wonder, hey, why I'm not getting a progress. So because I'm meditating for so many years, nothing is happening. So what exactly of the behavior in the seeker that unconsciously take him away from the grand road to success? So he's saying that we don't even know because we don't give these things that much importance. But it is important. That's what he's trying to tell you. So it's giving you a warning that if you don't have a balanced life, you will not be able to progress.
Moderation in indulgences and activities at all levels of one's personality is an unavoidable prerequisite which alone can assure true success in meditation. Intemperateness would bring discordant and riotous agitations in the various layers of matter, shattering the harmonious melody in the life of integration. Therefore, strict moderation in food, sleep, and recreation is enjoined. Everything should be well measured and completely defined.
See, strict moderation. Kitna strongly bola in food, sleep, and recreation. So, like there are some times we see some sadhus and this and that. Koi ek tang pe khada hai, kisi ne khana chhod diya, kisi ne ye kar diya, and everybody gets so fascinated and all. Nothing of that is required. If somebody is doing it, fine. Maybe that is their path. But Krishna Bhagavan is definitely not saying that is something so great. See what I'm trying to say? So just to me, after reading this, you get so much kind of happy and peaceful. Hey, you don't have to do that. All you have to do is balance. And I mean, medical people are saying balance your life. Spiritual people are saying balance your life. What more do we want, So it's just, and it is just good for us also. So such a simple thing, right? You feel so happy when you read this.
Yoga is not possible for him who eats too much, nor for him who does not eat and remains lonely. Here, the term eat should be understood in its comprehensive meanings as indulging all senses, enjoyments, mental feelings, and intellectual perceptions. It is only the process of consuming things through the mouth. It includes the enjoyments gained through all the avenues of sense perceptions and inward experiences.
So, here, this is from where Meenaji was asking, right? So now you know what they're saying. This is also related to that all five senses. And, I think that to us, each person has to see what our weakness is. Say, I'm just giving a very simple example. It doesn't apply to any particular person, but just to make it clear. Suppose that somebody has a habit of talking on the phone too much with their friends, and then after a while, that will also disturb your mind. You talk to 5 different people, all their problems are going to come on your head, and then your mind gets disturbed. And sometimes you cannot do the solution anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's why okay, hey, this is my bad habit, I gotta see. Some woman may be addicted to some soap opera or something, you're just over there, or some overeating, anything that we need to turn around and look at ourselves and then do the adjustment. But all 5 senses are included in this. Simple.
There's a lot of confusion regarding the advisability or otherwise of certain types of food. Seekers generally get too much confused with the problem of what to eat and what not to eat. Perhaps to remove this idea, Shankara in his commentary quotes a relevant advice given in the Satpatthi.
It's called Shat Path Brahmana.
Whatever food is suited to oneself, that protects and it injures not. A greater quantity injures and a smaller quantity protects not. In fact, if the above quotations explain what to eat, Patanjali Yoga Shastra clearly gives right direction to all meditators on how much to eat.
Okay, well, go read that. You see that footnote in the bottom, Patanjali. Read that, because that's very important. Read that.
Okay. Patanjali insists that half the stomach should be for food and condiments, the third quarter for water, and the fourth reserved for free movement of air. Oh my God.
So this is what it is. So the food के बारे में अभी बोला. And अमेरिका में तो it is like my God, कितने सारे diets आए हैं यहाँ पे, right? Protein खाओ तो ये मत खाओ, every year there's a new person comes up. All these young people start following them, oh, I'm doing this diet, I'm doing that diet. And then like somebody said, one of the Swamis said, have you heard of like something called a balanced diet? Why don't you just do that? Why you have to do all this, Anderson diet and Falana diet and all that? And sometimes, if you see their recommendation, how much to eat, वैसा कुछ ऐसा वो बनाते हैं ना ट्रायंगल जैसा, सोचे इतना खा लेंगे ना तो हम लोग मतलब कितना भी हेल्दी क्यों ना हम it will hurt us. That's how 5 servings of vegetable, 5 servings of, I don't even know what it means, but you don't even need anybody. You just ask your own self, your own body, and own common sense, I would say. So it is so interesting. He said that, okay, there is something called Shat Path Brahmana. This is like one of the part of our Vedas only, Shastras only. And here Shankaracharya ji gives commentary on these Bhagavad Gita and all that. And, in Chinmaya Mission, our Gurudev, he followed Shankar Bhashya a lot. So he's saying he gave this, that whatever food is suited to oneself, that protects and it injures not. That means we absolutely cannot copy somebody else. For example, there may be a fruit that it will be very conducive to your body type. And somebody else might eat that, might get totally sick. Because here, problem in the West, I see, just a rough example, nothing. Avocado is very good for you. Oh, eat that. But what if somebody doesn't suit? See what I'm saying? So he's giving you the freedom that what is not going to injure you and what's going to suit you, that's what you eat. So, we have to observe our own body, that what makes me feel more energetic, more, healthy. And when I sit in meditation, it doesn't make me sleepy. What kind of food? That's what I need to eat. So there is no fixed thing that you must do this or must not do this. No, whatever injures you not and whatever protects you, that's what you eat. That was a very important thing. And then Patanjali gave that अगर अपने stomach को 4 हिस्सों में बांट दो तो आधा खाना होना चाहिए, 1/4 पानी और 1/4 हवा, means कम खाओ. लेकिन अमेरिका में हम लोग ठूस के खाने की हम लोग को आदत है. And I'll never forget this. So, like, because all of us are Indian over here, we have a habit of running behind the food with our children. Eat, eat, eat. Oh, my son is so thin, doesn't eat. So I complained to the pediatrician way back then. Oh, my son is not eating and all that. So she said, but why are you forcing him? When he's hungry, he'll eat. So I said, yeah, but something. She looked at me and she said, do you know in America, people die of overeating? Nobody dies of hunger over here. you know? I'm like, okay, coming from India, you feel, my God. So I said, because, yeah, even if you see people who are like homeless, they are not like thin or anything. They are not dying of hunger. You never think about it that way, because you can die of overeating too, because all kind of diseases and all come when you overeat. So here it's almost telling you that ठूस के मत खाओ, जितनी भूख है उससे जरा सा कम ही खाओ. It's hard to do here, but it's giving you that tip. If we can do that, practice that'll be amazing. So
drawing our conclusion from these standards, we may understand the rule to be: eat whatever comes to us handy, without eating unnecessary destruction to the living kingdom, just for our personal experience, and intelligently consume a quantity which does not load our stomach. This is the golden rule of dieting for a successful meditators.
So see, here Swamiji is taking you one step further. He's saying, eat whatever comes to us handy. Some people इतना नखरा करेंगे, ये नहीं खाना, वो नहीं खाना. He's telling you not to do that if you want to be a successful meditator, without creating unnecessary destruction to the living kingdom just for personal existence. You know what he's hinting at? He's hinting at being a vegetarian. Don't try to, because on one hand, if you are trying to meditate and connect to Brahman, on the other hand, we know that even like in the modern times, they tell you that जो लोग मीट खाने वालों के लिए जो मीट तैयार करना पड़ता है, उसके लिए ज़्यादा पानी चाहिए, ज़्यादा resources. Everybody knows that, right? It needs double, triple, 4 times resources and all that. And of course, you are killing a living being. So as much as possible, sometimes because of certain family we are born in, on some cultural thing, a lot of people eat and all that. So I'm not, discounting all that, but just look at your own personal journey and see, where you can make this adjustment. If you can if you cannot, you can still meditate. It's not like that, but he's just giving you hints that for personal existence, try to least disturb and I think that wasting too much also comes in there. That, because whenever we waste food, we have to think that how many people have worked on it, hundreds and hundreds, to bring that food to our table or in our home. So we have to be sensitive to that too, because in the Western culture, all have experience. Our children have a different kind of mentality because they have not seen the other side. But we coming from India, we can understand what they are saying, An intelligent quantity that does not load our stomach, we already talked about. So he giving many other hints about what to eat.
It is rightly said that neither too much sleep, which unnecessarily dulls our faculties and renders the individuals more and more gross, nor no sleep at all. It is the right policy for a student in the spiritual life. Intelligent moderation is the law. I have one more stanza in my book.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This stanza might confuse the dull-witted, and therefore the following verse answer the question, how then can yoga be achieved?
So he's just saying that some people might say, bhai, बैलेंस लाइफ से मेडिटेशन का क्या संबंध है, शायद कोई ऐसे सोच सकता है. तो फिर नेक्स्ट वर्स में he gives the answer that why that balanced life is so important. I don't know who's here. iPhone, it says. I don't know who the person. I'll mute it. Okay. So, this is pretty simple, but also we don't think about it, right? Too much about this thing that we have to do these adjustments for meditation. Imagine that. Usually we think, oh, whatever we are doing, we can just start meditating. And here he's saying, hey, balanced life is so important. Food and everything. Any comment, question?
Yeah, food in excess is poison.
Yeah.
And one cannot meditate if you're fully full, because you have to have some space. So when you are eating, before you're full, you have to stop.
Yeah, see, you probably figured that out on your own, and here Lord Krishna is saying that very clearly. In the verse he's saying it. And I mean, and he's also saying the other way around too. That if you are totally hungry and starving, you will not be able to meditate, because you will be like, your mind will be in your, oh God, next food. Your mind will be in the kitchen. So he's telling you, yeah, eat, if your body requires that. Some people need early morning, they need to eat something. Others can wait for 2 hours. So I think that if we are sitting in meditation and your mind is going to your body and not Brahman, then you have to do some adjustment next day. He's telling you to just, when you are sitting, you should be able to not think about your body and your thoughts and emotion and mind and all that. And jitna jada balance hoega, utna jada we will be able to drop it. That's the conclusion that I feel like it's come to. Okay, let's see. So we could go to the next verse, since this was a simpler one and we still have time.
17.
If nobody has any comment or question. Because this one is related to the other one. It's verse 17. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. Yuktahara viharasya. One who is moderate in eating and recreation. So again, eating over here means with all 5 senses. Yukta chestasya karmasu. And one who is moderate in exertion in action. Ye nahi ki bhai, I want to do, like some people have problem with the karma yoga. Oh, keep doing work. He's saying, no, it has to be moderate. So we'll come to it when we discuss it. We'll do that. Yukta swapnasya bodhasya. That means moderate in sleep and wakefulness. And that has a double meaning, and we'll see what it means. Yoga is, again, we know, connecting to the higher yoga. Bhavati becomes dukkha, the destroyer of pain. So he's saying that it will become destroyer of pain, but let's see what other things he's talking about. So here, yukta word is, just think of it, well balanced, whatever we had talked about. So if we don't want any distraction in the meditation, that we need to have a yukta life, means well balanced. We already discussed in previous thing. And then यहाँ पर 2 word use किए हैं, ahar and vihar. So ahar means Hindi speaking वाले मानते हैं जो खाना खाते हैं हम लोग, ahar. Then we have discussed in detail what to eat and how, what to do, all that is there. But now it also think about all 5 senses. We have discussed that too. So right nourishment and all. And then यहाँ पर एक चीज और बहुत अच्छे से ऐड की है, विहार. Vihar means recreation. And then दिल्ली वाले स्वामी जी said कि कोई spirituality का मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो एकदम मरोस और serious हो जाए पूरा. You can keep your sense of humor. You can do a little entertainment also, because he said that recreation for the body, and recreation can be healthy recreation. You don't take it, you need to go and drink and party. That's not what he's talking about. Recreation, whatever relaxation you need. Somebody want to take a walk and, go to a garden, have a little gathering, whatever you want to do, because it's healthy for mind and body. It's nourishment. That's what he's talking about. And then the next thing is yukta cheshta. Cheshta means to do activity. That has to be well balanced. It cannot be too much or too little. Don't overwork yourself and don't be too lazy. He's telling you to do that. First, find out what we need to do in life and do it in moderation also. And then again, over here, which I already discussed, Dilliwale Swami was saying that he has not given any fixed time or idea about anybody. It's personalized. You find out yourself. We discuss in detail about that. And he's saying that also that don't think that, 4 बजे उठने से ना बहुत अच्छा meditation होता है, समझो किसी ने बोला, which is a good idea. But suppose somebody got up at 4 and is so sleepy that when he sits, he cannot meditate. So then it's better to go sleep another. So don't take it as a very fixed thing. It can be a little before, it can be after, and whatever suits you, that is the most important thing. So don't get funny ideas about it, And then he said, one time, somebody asked Swami Chinmayanandji that, hey, when should I meditate, Swamiji? So he said, when you are awake. Okay. That was his answer. So ये नहीं कि भाई half sleep में है ना वो सो ही जाएगा फिर, right? So one of the condition is that you got to be awake for meditation. And then if you do this, then in this verse it says the yoga becomes the destroyer of all your sorrows, which is our goal. So if we lead a balanced life and if we follow these instructions, then this balanced life will become, सारे दुख हमारे खत्म होते जाएंगे. That's what. And then that's when we reach the Turiya state, once we do this. So this is another very simple one, but Swamiji in his commentary has some really very good points about wakefulness and sleep and all that, and let's see what he has to say. Anybody has any comment or question? Any other volunteer to read today?
I could read,
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Meeraji, right?
Yeah. Yoga becomes the destroyer of pain for him who is moderate in eating and recreation, who is moderate in his exertion during his actions, who is moderate in sleep and wakefulness. This stanza plans the favorable life, living which yoga can be more successfully cultivated. Moderation in eating and recreation, in sleep and activities, is the prescription that has been insisted upon by the Lord of Yoga. In indicating the blessed life of temperance and self-control, Krishna has used such a selected vocabulary that the words have the fragrant note of an ampler suggestiveness. An ordinary seeker takes to some sacred work in a misguided belief that selfless work will create in him more worthiness for his spiritual life. Many seekers have I met who have in the long run fallen a prey to their own activities because of this false notion. In this stanza, we have a clear direction as to how to avoid the victimization of ourselves by the work that we undertake.
So this is a very, very important caution over here. Because, when people say, I want to do some selfless work, and then they might do some social service also, or whatever you in your definition call selfless work. But if you are not careful about this moderation and these stanzas, it might do more harm. Because I'm sure all of us are at that age where we have seen these things happen. Most of the cities, not most, at least I know 1 or 2 cities, even in the temple, when people try to do social service, they fight with each other so much, they take each other to court. It's like, hey, we are going there towards spiritual purpose, and then उसमें ज़्यादा राग द्वेष और डाल दिया, or they join some organization, and instead of focusing on, hey, I'm here to do my spiritual advancement, they get into this management thing and fighting with each other and all that, or this position, that position, election शुरू हो जाता है वहाँ पे भी. It's like lot of those things are very you have to be cautious. I'm not saying do it or don't do it. None of that I'm saying. I'm not kind of taking a name of anything. In general, we are talking about what cautious we have to do. Or somebody might say, I want to go and help somebody in the hospital. But if it starts becoming a burden in their head, and over there, they're, instead of feeling calm and peaceful, if it is disturbing them too much for whatever reason, not keeping balance at home, or any of the things can, if it is not taking you to a higher self, it is not going to come under this category of selfless work. That's the caution he's telling you, that even if you choose something to do which you may think it's noble, be very careful about it to keep it noble, because it can very easily fall into other categories that we see.
Not only is it sufficient, implies Krishna, that we must be temperate, discriminately careful in choosing the right field of activity, but we must also see that the efforts that we put into that activity are also moderate.
Chetasya.
Chetasya. Having selected a divine work, if in its program of effort we get ourselves bound and enslaved, the chances are that the work, instead of redeeming us from our existing vasanas, would create in us more and more new tendencies, and in the exhaustion created by the work, we will slowly sink into agitations and perhaps even into animalism.
That's exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That if you, that he, whatever we discussed a few minutes ago, that's what he's saying, that how dangerous it is, that you will get more into agitation and animalism.
When Krishna wants to indicate the absolute necessity for moderation regarding sleep and wakefulness, the phrases which he uses are very significant. Swapna is the term used for indicating the total conscious life of the ego's active experiences in the world. Elsewhere in the Upanishads also, the entire life's experiences have been classified under the state of sleep, the non-apprehension of reality, and the state of dream, the misapprehension of reality, wherein the waking state is also found to be included. Reading the same meaning in Karika of the term swapna used here by the divine charioteer, we can easily find that the wakefulness of a both mentioned here is a happy complementary term to swapna. The terms together mean more than what meets the ear.
And there is that little footnote. See Swamiji's discourse on Mandukya Upanishad, and our classes, at least half of the people were there at Mandukya time, right?
Yes.
So now, this is a very good, probably to go back and revise it, what we studied over there. So there, there are three states they talked about, right? Wakefulness, and then there was a dream state and deep sleep state, right? But then, as the Karika was the commentary on the Mandukya Upanishad, by Gaudapadji, and as he was progressing to tell us, he put the swapna and wakeful together. He proved by all kind of means that our wakeful state is also like a dream only, right? And the Turiya state is a real one. But so here he's saying that when he's talking, and here some big words are used over here, but if you go back to what we did, state of sleep is non-apprehension of reality. So non-apprehension means you have the Brahman and you don't recognize Brahman. That's why you see the world. Okay? Once you recognize the Brahman, you will see Brahman only in everything. That's what it means by non-apprehension. And misapprehension is when you don't see what it is and then you project with your mind something else. And now the best example is that everybody knows in this class now, the snake and the rope, or the rope and the snake. There is a rope lying. Why do I see the snake? Because I don't see the rope. So when it's dark, I go out and this, rope is lying. Because I don't see the rope, so my mind projects it like as though it is a snake. So he's saying this whole world, when we don't recognize Brahman, we look at it as the world and we think it is real. That's what he's talking about. So he's saying that when they talk about these two words, swapna and avabodh, they are talking about this state of I don't recognize, that's why I see the world, and that one I do recognize is avabodh. So between the two, maybe balance hona chahiye. And then next verse will explain what he means.
The term avabodh used here echoes the scriptural goal explained therein as absolute knowledge. To all intelligent and serious students of the Upanishads, the term as used here carries an unsaid secret message that the meditator should not overindulge either in the life of misapprehensions or in those deep silent moments of pure meditation, the moments of avabodh. Krishna indicates that sadhakas during their early practices should not overindulge either in the world of their perceptions nor try to practice too long and weary hours of meditation and force their inner silence.
So
In the same
important.
stanza,
Sorry, finish it, then we'll discuss it. Yeah, go ahead.
In the same stanza, by two insignificant looking words, Krishna has conveyed to all generations of Geeta students an indication why yoga is to be practiced at all. It is capable of destroying all miseries.
So, such an important thing Swamiji brought out, that in the early stages, once somebody's getting good at it and they can sit longer and all, good and dandy for them. But he's just warning you that early stages you need to have a balance between doing meditation and don't do it for too long. So this, when he was talking about avabodh and swapna, he's talking about that sitting in meditation, because that avabodh, he's connecting to the final goal of knowledge. Knowledge of Brahman means when we are sitting in meditation, we are practicing that. And the rest of the time we are in the swapna, doing worldly stuff. It is very important to again keep that balance, because if you try to do too much at an early stage, it can backfire. People have all kinds of even mental issues that people start having, and some backaches and this and that. Even to sit for a longer period of time, our body has to practice slowly and increase the time, right? We cannot suddenly do. So that's what he's cautioning, that keep the balance even in that. Not necessarily that sitting for too long is a very great thing. And, jaldi mil jayega mujhe. Ulta ho sakta hai. That's what he's trying to tell you. That, hey, you can go the other way. So every step of the way, you got to be alert and remember all these points. And the final, Swamiji always says that human being always asks, मैं ये क्यों करूं? So वो बता रहे हैं कि all your miseries it has a capability of destroying all your miseries, which everybody wants. Nobody wants to be miserable. The reasons may be different for a misery in everybody's life, but this particular process can destroy your miseries if done it correctly. So here, I think in a very strong manner, he's telling us to have a moderate, simple, balanced life. That's what it is. Any comment, question?
Just a comment. I thought of this: force their inner silence, not to try to practice too long and weary hours of meditation, and force their inner silence, because this can explode if you don't, do it with a reason. Why you want the silence, and let it go away. It can explode once you get out. Everything just everything comes out, and there your silence is all gone.
True.
So to me, it was like, okay, I have to do it that slowly, otherwise it doesn't work.
Right.
There is no silence in there.
In fact, some people, say that, oh, मैंने मौन व्रत रखा हुआ है, right? Because they just force that silence. But अगर उनका तुम persona देखोगे तो वो, I'm not talking about everybody, huh? I'm just talking about a example that it can happen. You see, they look so angry, and then they are so, bring this paper. I got to write this. It's like मन में इतना तूफान चल रहा है. You could just see from their. That's not what they're talking about when they're talking
Exactly.
about.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
That's what. Yes, so if you want that inner silence, you should know the goal. Why am I doing the inner silence? And even on this, the way these व्रत्स have been, उसका जो रूप बिगड़ा हुआ है इंडिया में व्रत करने का, like उपवास करने का, करवा चौथ or whatever, upvas means to withdraw from all five senses, not just food. So you are supposed to be, keeping that day to connect to God. And what they are doing over there, firstly, they will wake up early in the morning and ठूस के खाएंगे, because I have to stay, hungry all day. रात का खाना will be so heavy that whatever you have done, it will all go down the window. You probably get sick in the morning. And then whole day they are watching movies. Some violent and, this and God knows what kind of movies. Because time pass karna hai, My God, but when you read, then you realize, when you really know what it is for, those kind of things will never help you. Neither is going to help you, nor is going to help for somebody else.
Right.
Because you will be all, instead of becoming a better person, you will be all irritated and upset. It's not going to help your family or your partner either.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect example that, what they're talking about. That even if you want that inner silence, just the way you're saying, Minaji, it has to be done in a way that it is having a good effect. Know the goal in mind and do it slowly and, and all that. And so many yuktis are given. So many upasanas are given,
Silence means they're, not just say don't, but give a reason to yourself.
Yeah.
And that will take you away from it instead of, no, you can't. Once you say no, that's cutting and that explodes.
Yeah.
That comes out again.
If you don't give a good reason. That's why I think there is a word, they say that do sublimation, not suppression.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So sublimation comes with knowledge and understanding and why am I doing, and it has a higher purpose, that you're sacrificing something lower for the higher purpose.
Yeah.
So that, and you can call it vivek buddhi also, that you need the vivek.
Definitely.
All of that come together over here. So I think this is a very, very important tip. But the amazing thing is, if you really think about it, to be successful, you don't have to do too crazy stuff. To me, that was the most important thing when I kind of, I'm just saying that there are certain verses that really opened your eyes, that and it's coming from Lord Krishna.
Make it simpler for every day.
Make it exactly. Do this kind of diet, do that. No, find out what suits you, and just be moderate. And hundreds of other benefits are going to come along the way, right? When you do that, that's another beauty.
True. Yes.
But Umaji, I have a question. It's a very interesting question which we're discussing right now. How do you explain or how do you enlighten silence? सबसे मौन व्रत धारण किया.
So
उसको कैसे explain करो, कैसे करो? I mean, supposing let's say I want to do 1 hour more. I'm just giving my example.
So आप क्यों करना चाहते हो? पहले ये पूछो अपने आप को, क्यों करना चाहते हो?
नहीं, ऐसे मुझे नहीं. मेरे अपने अंदर से क्वेश्चन उठता है.
अच्छा.
Supposing I want to.
So किसी ने बोला कि मौन व्रत बहुत अच्छी चीज होती है, उससे तुम आगे बढ़ोगे, right? Somebody might say like that. So then, okay, मैं मौन व्रत कर रही हूँ, and then I pick up a time. I want to do this. Maybe that particular time your family wants to talk to you about certain important things. But you say, नहीं, मेरा तो मौन व्रत है. So मैं तो कुछ बोलूंगी नहीं. Then it doesn't mean anything because you'll be so disturbed. So what they're talking about Maun Vrat over here is silencing your mind and connecting to the higher. Us sense mein wo Maun Vrat. So then, sometimes even if you have done a vrat, but you have to break it for certain thing.
Come down for a minute. Thanks.
Even if you have to kind of break it, no hell is going to fall on you. So what Swamiji and Krishna Bhagwan is telling you, that you should know the purpose and do everything in moderation. But if maybe there is another time in the afternoon that you can do it, great, do it. And then what does it mean to Maunvrat to you? Maybe I talk too much, so I want to be quiet because then I can focus on something higher. Then I will call that as a Maunvrat. Just not speaking and zipping your mouth and getting too much agitated, it's not a Maunvrat then.
Yeah, that's what in my mind. So sometimes you have so much in your mind. That question is arising in your mind, this thing, that thing, here and there, Then how to solve that one?
Something that is disturbing you, then the Maunvrat.
Not this disturbance, just my thoughts come in the mind.
Yeah, thoughts coming.
A, B, C, D, and thoughts.
So then, यहाँ पर तो युक्ति दिया ना, you can do a japa in your mind. That could be part of the Maunvrat, right? You can do a japa in your mind. You can silently read a book, which is connected to spirituality. That will calm your mind. You are taking away the thoughts from the world and bringing it back to Brahman.
Oh, okay.
Right? Basically, in my definition, in my mind, about whatever I know of, Maunvrat means trying to silence the mind, meaning trying to get it away from the worldly problems that disturb us so much every day. That particular time, I don't want to be thinking about all my problems. But how to silence, each person will have to see. Maybe if I do mantra, if I have some kind of affinity towards a mantra, I can silently say that in my mind, and then that will calm my mind. Or read a book, or go sit under a tree. You can do that. Or maybe for somebody, Shilaji, not talking on the phone for 3 hours, maybe Maunvrat. See what I'm saying? Maunvrat का भी definition आप खुद ले सकते हो.
Actually, my confusion was that supposing I don't do it, I'm just asking.
I know, but this is what the problem is.
I feel like doing, but the question has to clear. I was thinking if I do the Maun, but supposing I do the chanting. I was thinking if the chanting is not the Maunvrat. That was my question. But now that if I do chanting and try to do my mind on the chanting, that's perfectly fine. It's a part of the silence then. Right?
Yes, in my mind it is, and other people can comment on it. And because this is the problem that happens, that I have seen. Somebody gives a yukti, but you do this, and then that will help you. And people just make that a goal of their life. They forget about why I'm doing it, like Meenaji was saying. And every once in a week I have to do Maunvrat, and that's what becomes their goal. And then they are all agitated and all, वो भूल ही गए काय के लिए कर रहे हैं, or just by not speaking I have achieved it. That's where he's telling you not to do that. You can do a little adjustment, because if you have a proper goal in mind, then you will progress in that line.
Actually, the proper goal should be the silence the mind.
Yes.
That's the main thing. I answered my question very well today, and thank you very much.
Yeah, Mukesh, you want to say something, right?
No, that's fine. Thank you. Namaste, everybody. What I was thinking, which I observe a lot of times, whenever my mind has so many thoughts going at the same time, I take a couple of deep breaths before to start with. Hold the breath as long as I can, release it slowly, and do it couple of times, and then bring the mantra Om in my mind and just let it run inside of my brain, and kind of visualize the Om symbol while doing it for a couple of minutes, And I think any kind of mantra or japa or something, or Om Namah Shivaya, or any kind of chanting is definitely very helpful. But to start with, I think taking a deep breath, visually observing the Om for a period of minute or two, and pronouncing the Om, and then do whichever the method you like to utilize it to continually calm the mind, in a sense, right there. Because there is no such thing as calming the mind. There is not controllable. That is the way our defensive mechanism and survival mechanism is working. And so I think slowing down the thought process with external happenings is closing your eyes and try not to listen too much the outside commotions on down the road would make it a little bit more and more quieter slowly and steadily. Yeah,
Good.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
you know,
Yeah.
sometimes these retreats are meant for it too. That sometimes we have a hard time. Like I know that my GRG is visiting right now, and he is very much into Vipassana. So he tells I've not ever gone for that, but he tells me how they do it. So when you go over there for 10 days, you don't make eye contact with other people, you don't talk to anybody and all that. So that helps in that one, but they create that environment over there. But if you try to, so that's why when you're at home, they tell you to just do, people who are serious Vipassana followers, he does 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. But you cannot take that 10 hour that you do over here, start doing it at your home. It's not going to happen. See what I'm saying? So there are coming back to Bhagavad Gita, since we are doing Bhagavad Gita, balance and moderation is the goal. How you achieve it, each person can put their own intelligently. Vivek say you can put it, and there is no problem with that. There's no fixed thing, and that's why the Nikhilanandji, he said that Krishna Bhagwan didn't give a fixed thing. ऐसा ये करो ये नहीं करो ये नहीं बोला. Now you use your intelligence. Okay, so
And living a simple life always is very helpful down the road and throughout your life. And because by living a simple life, you are eliminating a lot of thoughts of comparison and jealousy and inferiority, superiority things. So you're slowing down your mind by exhibiting and by practicing the simplified life in terms of a simplified house, simplified dresses, simplified food, and in any sense, simplification
true.
is very helpful in any journey, like this.
So what we can do is, since I have to do the Kathopanishad, I'm going to go to Kathopanishad, and then any question or comment from this, we'll take it after that.
Sure.
Because we have last half an hour also for all this. Okay, so I'm going to close Bhagavad Gita here. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.